deal with airplane peanuts.
2024 may have been the biggest year for comedy ever, chocked full with some of the wildest stories and craziest headlines to involve comedians.
The simple fact that Obama's talking about Tony Hinchcliffe is crazy.
Bro, Obama's doing a Tony Hinchcliffe bit.
From more comics opening their own clubs.
This place is still not technically open to the public yet, but last night they put on a sound testing show that was one of the best live comedy performances I've ever seen.
To some of the biggest podcasts ever recorded.
Yeah, it's gonna be
the greatest thing floating in 2024. Mark the words. No way.
The comedy world changed forever in 2024, and after watching this video, you'll be caught up with every single detail. This is the Joke World Comedy News Year in Review. If you're new here, this channel reports on all of the most impactful stories related to the comedy universe in our weekly comedy news update series. And today we are looking back at each and every one of those videos in order to create an extensive 365-day comedy news recap starting back in January of 2024. 2024 started off hot with Kill Tony's biggest show ever at the time, back-to-back nights at H-E-B Arena in Austin, Texas that featured a Mr. Beast 10K giveaway, Adam Ray winning Guest of the Year, and a controversial matchup between Hans Kim vs. Rick Diaz, which was won on stage by Hans but heavily debated online for weeks to come. Well, the main event was obviously Hans Kim vs. Rick Diaz, a battle that Hans Kim ultimately was named the winner of in the end. Please tell us from your point of view, what was it like in the actual arena the moment that the winner was announced?
When they announced the winner of the Hans Kim Rick Diaz showdown, it was pretty clear that Hans Kim won the audience approval. Sitting back with the other comedians, that was not the case. The comedians strongly favored Rick Diaz, and some reacted with anger, maybe especially because both Shane and Matt, before the vote was taken, both commented that they thought that Rick had the stronger set. We had Sean O'Malley acting as referee. There was a lot of hope that Rick was going to beat Hans Kim. Personally, I'm a Hans Kim gal. I like his humor, but I was one of the few people that was cheering for Hans in the comedian section.
The next comedy news update was about the explosive Cat Williams Shannon Sharp podcast that took place on January 3rd, 2024, and 1 year later has 85 million views. After Cat Williams famously called out many of his peers in comedy directly, while also mixing in plenty of subtle shots at entire groups along the way.
Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny he want to push out. I'm so sorry I'm competitive. You an athlete, right?
Yeah, I can tell.
Because they tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Don't such and such open the gate? But what do you mean ain't no gatekeepers? There's 100 gates out here. Everyone I've seen got a keeper.
The January drama continued 1 week later when Joe Coy received a crazy amount of backlash online after hosting the Golden Globes on just 10 days' notice, with most of the criticism coming from Swifties after a joke about Taylor Swift and the decision to throw his writers under the bus after a few jokes bombed.
Big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL. On the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift.
We watched the Joe Coy Golden Globes intro, and it was fine. Even the Taylor Swift joke was good and mild. He just delivered it like a bashful Asian geisha girl.
Like I said, I didn't write all these. That one's not right.
Coy's a killer. He does arenas. He's got his own fans. He'll be fine.
But it is a different gig, and this is straight up a hell gig.
Hell gig.
When it comes to Joe Coy hosting the Golden Globes, I think comedians should stay away from that. Because when it comes to something that mainstream said at that time of the day, how funny can you really be? Comedy is about pushing the boundaries. So how much is mainstream TV gonna allow you to push the boundaries? Comedians, stay the f*** away from the Golden Globes. Allow these allow these improv actors who have never did 20 minutes of stand-up to host a Golden Globe.
On January 23rd, Natasha Leggero went topless at the Hollywood Improv after following Bert Kreischer. Some people online wanted this stunt to start a conversation about double standards in show business, and others just thought it was an electric moment by a comedian captured on camera. January ended by interviewing Luis J. Gomez after the Legion of Skanks YouTube channel was deleted and banned for the 5th time.
Just wondering, has YouTube provided any real official reasoning for the ban yet?
No, they haven't. They took the channel down without any strikes or warnings. But after doing a little bit of research, you know, with this like our 4th or 5th YouTube channel, we've had over 100,000 subscribers 4 times. And I think at this point, they don't have to warn us. It's like ban evasion. I think they realize who we are. They could probably look at like, you know, where we're signing up from. And more than likely, if I had to guess, we just started another YouTube channel. More than likely, this one will be taken down eventually as well. We're just sort of playing the game. And you know, we want to put the podcast where people want to find it, the free version of the show where it's discoverable. So obviously, YouTube is a great platform for that. But we're also using X, we're using Rumble, and really we're just putting the free version of the show wherever people can discover it and find it. And we're just gonna, you know, just play our hand, which is that YouTube likely doesn't really want the Legion of Skanks to be on their platform.
Notable stand-up specials from the month of January include Gabriel Iglesias' Legend of Fluffy, Russell Peters' Irresponsible Ensemble, Pete Davidson, Turbo Fonzarelli, Dusty Slay, Workin' Man, Roy Wood Jr., Lonely Flowers, and Dudesy released a controversial AI George Carlin special on YouTube. The month of February started off with one of the coolest moments of the entire year when it was officially announced that Shane Gillis would be hosting an episode of Saturday Night Live 5 years after his firing. News that filled his fans with both excitement and curiosity as to how he would handle the offer given the history.
He's known for a full month?
Yeah.
What?
It's top secret.
A month?
It was like rumblings about it for a little while.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
Yeah. I just said, I said on my
really
stream.
I
cried.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I couldn't stop crying. I was trying not to.
Big J cried for a different reason.
Yeah.
I said I was on my stream like a week ago, maybe not even, and somebody was like, they said something about Shane SNL. I was like, dude, I bet you one day he will host. I said, it was this week. It was this week. I said one day he will host SNL. And
things move fast.
I'm telling you right now, that shit is absolutely wild, and I'm very, very happy for Shane. It's all exciting, but I do have to stop my instinct to shit on SNL, right? Just like I'll talk about it here, but like because it's like f you guys. Are you kidding me? No, f you guys. What changed?
They did
nothing. Fucking changed. He still said the shit that you fired him for. So you guys are just willing to be hypocritical,
sort of. So it's a little more complex than that. It's not SNL. It's this NBC. These gross. Six, like that's the thing. Yeah. It's not like the comics on SNL were like Shane should be.
A couple of them did.
Yeah,
there was a couple people that did interviews and they shit on him.
Them,
yeah.
But I'm saying like these are like network things. Normie went back and hosted SNL after he got the butt from the network.
His monologue was fucking.
It was hilarious.
He said, either I got a lot better or this show still sucks.
I want Shane to do that so bad.
I'm sure he's going to do something.
Idea, you know?
I'm sure he's going to do something super clever.
I'm not racist anymore. This is the most racist show on television.
On February 13th, it was announced that Cat Williams had been chosen to perform the second ever live stand-up special streamed on Netflix, also adding more context as to why he may have been so eager to get his name in the headlines.
Well, now that our relationship with Netflix is at the 8-figure mark.
8?
How
you said 8?
How often you want to make them?
Oh, you said 8? I mean, like
right.
5, 6, 7, 8?
Gotta be 10 million to qualify, yeah.
The shortest month of the year ended with Shane Gillis hosting SNL, which obviously garnered a lot of national attention after a stellar performance from Shane.
Look, I don't have any material that can be on TV, all right? I'm trying my best. Also, this place is extremely well lit. I can see everyone not enjoying it. This is, just the most nervous I've ever been. Don't clap now, shut up.
It was also announced this same week that Netflix would be purchasing 2 seasons of a new sitcom from Shane Gillis and John McKeever called Tires, but more on that later. Notable specials from the month of February include Taylor Tomlinson, Having It All, Mike Epps, Ready to Sell Out, Rory Scovel, Religion, Sex, and a Few Things in Between, H. Foley's Half Hour on YouTube, Donnell Rawlings, A New Day, Fahim Anwar, House Money, and David Cross, Worst Daddy in the World. March 2024 was a historic month for podcasting because the biggest show in the world returned to YouTube after Joe Rogan signed a new contract with Spotify that allowed full episodes of JRE to once again be uploaded on this platform, and the first episode back featured featured a very special guest.
You know, I read 3,000 books. People were like, yeah, right. But, you know, everything in life is about the environment it was grown in, the petri dish, right? So if I told you that from the time I was 8 to the time I was 12, I never celebrated any birthdays. I never went to a birthday party. I never had a Thanksgiving, a Christmas. I never trick-or-treated. I wasn't allowed to watch movies, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV. All I could do was read. If I told you that, then you would understand that for 8 hours a day, I got 8 hours, and I can read, and I love to read. And so I'm reading books that are 250, 200 pages, and it takes me about an hour to read one. So yeah,
it takes you an hour to read
I'm reading
150 pages?
8 a day. Yeah, like all I'm doing is reading.
1 week after Cat Williams went on JRE, we interviewed David Lucas about his debut stand-up special Uncancelable and the backlash he was receiving at the time for jokes he made about George Floyd.
The new title of your special is Uncancelable, of course, which ironically came out right after you started getting some heat online for some jokes made about George Floyd. So my first question for you is, how do you think that whole situation going viral helped play into the release of your first special?
Man, you know what's so crazy? Like, you can't ask for better marketing. Like, we couldn't even plan this if we wanted to. And the special was already named Uncancelable before I even shot it. I don't know. There's no such thing as bad publicity, man. I think we're at like 245,000 views in 4 days. We should be at the week mark, if it keeps going like it's going, right at like 350 or 400,000. No promotion, all out of pocket, man. I feel like this is me showing people what I can do on my own. And then, you know, the big production company gets behind it. You know, the stars are the space, whatever they say, the moon is the limit, whatever the hell they be saying.
Yeah. On March 22nd, Canadian comedian Brett Forte came on the show to discuss the death threats and bounty on his head over resurfaced jokes made by members of his comedy group, the Danger Cats.
Yuck Yucks Winnipeg, they said, we want no part of this, and they dropped us. And then the threats started coming in for the other venues. And because it's not the server's joke, it's not the server's problem. So we then found new venues for every leg on the tour. We announced that location to ticket buyers only the day of the show to keep the venue, the staff, and the people attending safe. Well, you still have to put a ticket link out there. So we know there's going to be some bad seeds buying tickets. So we literally Google these names as they come in.
Oh my
God. You can see who's an activist and who's like Antifa, who's just buying a ticket to try to get the location and start a problem. So they go in a separate list. And the people that had tickets for months, we know that they're legit ticket buyers. We give them the real address. And then, for example, when we went to Winnipeg, we know the people that aren't honest, and we send them a fake location across town, 45 minutes away. So by the time they figure out that's not the real place, we're already wrapping up mic cords and we're out of that city.
Wow.
And in a couple of cases, we even emailed them like, hey, your tickets have been refunded. Maybe you don't have activist in your Facebook bio, you idiot. It's a temporary fix. Like, we can't be doing shows like this all the time. I know Don't Tell Comedy is already a brand, but ours right now is like, please don't tell.
1 week after that, a rumor broke online claiming that Shane Gillis had been chosen to play the lead role in Quentin Tarantino's final movie.
First of all, I got leaked that you were in a Tarantino thing.
If you're in Tarantino's last movie,
that would be very cool.
There's been rumors that Shane Gillis is playing the movie critic.
Like the lead.
And I weirdly think that he fits this role of like movie critic.
Check out Quentin Tarantino's 10th and final movie. I have the lead role in it.
Technically, this rumor was eventually proven untrue, but it wasn't the only movie rumor for Shane in 2024. A few of the notable specials from the month of March include Eleanor Kerrigan, No Country for Old Women, Dan Soder, On the Road, Akash Singh, Gaslit, Preacher Lawson, My Name is Preacher, Kevin Ryan, Live in Philly, Brian Simpson, Live from the Mothership, Mike Vecchione, Worst Kind of Thoughtful, and Dave Attell, Hot Cross Buns. The month of April started off with a video revealing the results of our 2024 Joke World March Madness tournament, which takes place every spring and is voted on by our subscribers. And last year's bracket had plenty of notable upsets like Lemon Party over JRE.
How many votes does this little podcast called The Joe Rogan Experience have?
2,521.
Okay.
Hey, we're winning by 800! 300, baby.
Woo!
Let's go. Look at that. The 32 seed.
Yeah, who needs $500 million?
The Cinderella kids. Oh my God.
I'll give Joe a vote, just out of pity.
No.
It's like the president going and then voting for the other president
We're gonna
just to show respect.
We're going to lose by one vote, like
Don't
the
do
movie
that.
election. Yeah.
Don't do that.
All right.
We're going to blame you.
All right. I'm going back to No Country for Old Men.
It would be so funny if Joe's worth $600 million and he's spamming the vote on his own computer.
But in the end, Rick Glassman and Take Your Shoes Off were crowned the winners after over 100,000 total votes were cast.
So what is that? They did like a bracket for the top podcasts, and the Regs
was on there.
The Regs was on there, and we got knocked out pretty.
Who did we lose to?
Try to find that. I don't remember who we lost to, but it's crazy.
I want you to find who it was, and I want to watch all of their clips. I want to go over film, and then I want to study so that next March we don't look like a couple of fucking idiots.
Up next was an interview with the CEO of Are You Garbage, Kevin Ryan, that went deep into the history of their podcast, his friendship with H. Foley, and a few ideas for their next Patreon goal.
So you're fresh off a big trip to Ireland with the fellas. It looked like a lot of fun. What was your favorite part or the best story from that voyage? And is it true that H. Foley only packed 3 shirts for an 11-day trip?
Yeah, that was the big mystery of what clothes he actually brought. No one was ever able to pin him down on the amount of shirts because he said 3, and then after like day 2 he needed to do laundry. It was very confusing. He's very mysterious about his articles of clothing. But I think I saw 3, maybe 4 t-shirts in the 12-day trip, so I'm not sure. There was no one moment kind of jumps out. It was just it was a very fun kind of 12 days of running around Dublin and Ireland and drinking and having fun and just laughing with some of my best pals. So it was a fantastic trip. Shout out to the homies and bozos for making it happen.
Yeah, because like that was a Patreon goal that was reached. We've seen other ones like the roulette spin, Disney World. What's the next big Patreon benchmark?
I don't know. We're trying to think of that now, and it's kind of one of those problems where like the bigger they get, that means the next one's got to be fucking crazier, you know? So it's like, I don't know. And like in 2 years, we might end up in Mars or something just for the bit. I don't know. We have a couple things that we're kicking around the idea. I've been pushing for African safari, but I don't know if that's, I think just us idiots, on a truck in an African safari would be too funny. So I don't know. That's the big one, but I don't know if I can sell that to the team.
Speaking of Patreon goals, we just launched the Joke World Patreon a few months ago with the goal to buy an official comedy news van to drive around Austin, Texas, doing interviews at various clubs. If that sounds like something you want to be a part of, or if you want to gain access to hundreds of exclusive videos that don't get uploaded to YouTube, check out the link below. But anyway, April ended with a deep dive into Brian Redband's secret show that happens every Thursday at the Sunset Strip in Austin. After witnessing a show in person that featured surprise drop-ins from Ari Shaffir and Joey Diaz.
I'm Yonder Wizard. I am the head door guy here at Sunset Strip in Austin, Texas. The lead up to it started a couple months ago. Redband was on the phone with Joey in the green room, and Joey was supposed to come by, but he just got too up. Long story short, he said, I'll get you next time. So we're sitting up there, and Redband's like, hey, go downstairs and get Joey Diaz. So I'm like, okay, this is it. He's here. So I come down, and we all get him, and he gets upstairs, and I'm just in shock this entire time. I don't know. I've never seen this room get that loud before. Ari Shaffir starts giving the credits. You've seen him in The Longest Yard. You've seen him on his podcast, The Church of What's Happening Now. And the room erupts. It was like a cartoon with people like leaning over the backs of the row in front of them. You saw it. It was crazy. I think I cried. I honestly think I cried a little bit. It's good for the club, but not just good for the club, it's good for comedy. Like the fact that those guys are willing to come and play our club. We're the other ship. With the fact that they'll come and play our club is awesome. And Redband makes that happen every Thursday. You never know who's going to pop in.
Some of the notable specials from the month of April include Neil Brennan, Crazy Good, Jimmy Carr, Natural Born Killer, and Ian Fidance, Wild, Happy, and Free. May kicked off with a video recapping the Moontower Comedy Festival that took place at the end of April. And our video featured multiple interviews from comics on the lineup, such as Josh Johnson, Liam Cullen, Colum Tyrell, and Dan St. Germain.
I feel like in Austin, like we're in Austin right now, and Austin has almost, I don't know how to say this in any other way except like an intensity to it. There's like Austin comics have this like intensity to everything that they're saying. Not to say they're yelling, but they're just like, they're very much like I'll die on this hill. But it'll be a hill that's like not even that crazy.
Right.
But it's like, I'll go toe to toe. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, wow, geez. That's a lot. Like, I thought New Yorkers were intense, but yeah, there's something about Austin comics, at least that I've met, that are very, very funny.
Yeah.
But one of the things that makes them so funny to me is that they bring like a level of intensity to every bit. Like, it's their mantra. Whatever they're saying, they could be riffing and they're still like, I'll die.
Yeah, I've never heard that, but that makes so much sense. Maybe because no one's actually they all just got here, so they're like, Austin's the best. Like, they're used to like repping, you know, their opinions like that.
I bet you some of it is that, though.
Yeah.
It's like, so a lot of people are moving to Austin, and I think Austin is becoming a place of comics hyping each other up.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens. You get us in like a group together where everyone's just like, yeah, go further.
Up next was one of the defining comedy moments of 2024. The 3-hour unfiltered live roast of Tom Brady, which was not only the highest viewed piece of content on Netflix last year, but also featured truly fearless roasting with nothing off the table. With jokes about Brady's divorce, Kim Kardashian's pussy, and even Aaron Hernandez.
Bert Kreischer is the king. He looks like the Tiger King and the Liver King only ate Burger King and had a liver that looked like Martin Luther King got beat up by Rodney King.
Tom also lost $30 million in crypto. Tom, how did you fall for that? I mean, even Gronk was like, me know that not real money. Like...
Tony Hinchcliffe, Nikki Glazer, and Andrew Schultz were deemed the biggest winners from this event, and Ben Affleck is remembered to have the worst set of the night. 5 months after their first arena show in Austin, Kill Tony put on a show at the Kia Forum that was also available to buy on livestream. That was again at the time their biggest episode ever, featuring Tim Dillon, Dr. Phil, and Post Malone on the panel, with surprise appearances by RFK Jr., Bobby Lee, and Ari Shaffir, and of course a rematch between Rick and Hans, who both joined our show the following day to discuss their battle after a 4-1 victory from Hans.
The crowd was quick to boo everyone that whole night. You randomly got booed after just setting up your first joke of the set. Why have the crowds been so angry in the arenas?
I think the crowds are just feeling their power. And they're just like, there's like a critical mass of them. Like, if you start booing at the Comedy Mothership, then people are going to be like, oh, there he is. Go get him. But if you're booing in an arena, then people don't know where you are, and you can just say and do whatever you want. So it's like the anonymity sort of is like the internet. But then you can look and see them and be like, hey, you're booing, and they're like, oh shit, they can see me.
The crowd was booing everyone all night long. Did that mess you up at all? And why have these arena crowds been so quick to boo?
I'm assuming I can tell this because at the end of the day, it is shown in the episodes, right? What happened at HEB Center, the crowd booed a lot on night 1 and less on night 2. And that was because after what happened on night 1, when they started night 2 at HEB Center, Tony told the crowd to please listen and let people do their minute. When they started the show at the LA Forum, they forgot to do that. And then when they started the show at the YouTube Theater, they did do that. They remembered to do that. On the other hand, the boos are kind of like fun, you know? Like, it's like, well, if you're gonna suck, we're gonna boo you. But so maybe like David Lucas was telling me he kind of likes the boos. But I personally feel like I don't mind the boos if you're sucking, but you should be given a little bit of a shot to prove that you're not sucking, that you're going somewhere. You know?
Yeah, because they were booing on like the setup a lot of times. It just kind of ruined the flow.
Yeah, it ruined the flow. But what I thought was I was prepared for anything in my head. When I saw they were booing everybody, I thought, well, they're gonna boo me too. Plus, with the battle context, there's a chance they're gonna boo me regardless. So I started with the boos, and I feel like I turned them around by the end of my set. So I was actually proud.
On May 25th, we made a video detailing the movement away from corporate comedy and towards independent projects that featured interviews with 3 people who know about creating self-made comedy: Ian Fidance, Sam Rubinoff, and Mark Normand.
Do the people at these shows in the city know that you're on the lineup beforehand? And is there a difference in how much you trust a reaction to a new joke if it's told in front of your crowd versus a random audience?
Wow, good question. See, that's why you're the guy. It's a very smart question there. You want both. So I with the Comedy Cellar, I usually do it unannounced. I don't know why. I like it better that way. And at the other clubs, I usually announce. Okay. So sometimes you need your people to kind of boost you along and like kind of hold your hand. Like, I trust you. I'll stay with you. Mm-hmm. And then you also need the other crowd to go, We don't know you. We don't give a shit. It's either funny or not funny.
On May 24th, the first season of Shane Gillis and John McKeever's independently funded sitcom Tires debuted on Netflix to a massive success, holding the #1 spot for 4 days and amassing over 3.8 million views in their first week.
And you dethroned Bridgerton, which was a huge victory.
And we got
for me.
Bridgerton.
Wow.
We got Bridgerton for a few days, but Bridgerton crawled their ass back.
It's girl porn.
It is girl
it's
porn.
total girl porn.
We had Bridgerton for 3 days.
That's a good feeling.
Notable specials from the month of May include Colin Quinn, Our Time Is Up, Cat Williams, Woke Folk, Nikki Glazer, Someday You'll Die, Gary Veeder, It Could Be Worse, Sal Volcano, Terrified, and Kevin Hart, the Kennedy Center Mark Twain Prize. The summer started off with Kill Tony sensation Drew Nickens, who took the comedy world by storm when he was called back on stage by Tony Hinchcliffe 7 times after being pulled out of the bucket. And with help from our friends at Kill Alley, we created a full documentary about the insane path Drew Nickens took to Kill Tony stardom, featuring footage from a full year before his name was ever drawn.
Hey, thank you for doing everything that you do. You have a lot of really good people that work with you over there, Christy, Monica, Colt, Ike, Michael, and if I'm missing anybody that works upstairs, I'm sorry. But you guys are all great people. You have great staff. All the comics up there are cool and nice and friendly. You're giving us a chance. I thank you for the opportunity. If I ever get up on stage, I hope I make y'all proud, and I hope that I can bring a little bit of magic to your day. I know it's stressful, and you guys do a lot of really hard and great work, and I appreciate you because of that. And if I get on stage, I'm happy to do whatever I got to do to just make y'all proud. That's the big thing. If I make y'all proud, I don't care what comes with it. If there's something that comes with it, it doesn't. From where I've come from to now, thank you.
1 week after that, we met up with Ali Sadiq before his show at the Tampa Theater to discuss his journey as one of the first comics to ever operate fully independently outside of the traditional model and still find mainstream success.
26 years ago, nobody was saying that they were not moving to LA or New York besides me. And it's not a person that can lie and say that it wasn't.
So you always knew that YouTube...
I was the first of independent. I'm not going to LA. I'm not going to New York. I'm going to stay in Houston. I'm going to do it from Houston. That's 26 years ago. It didn't really resonate to people until 2013 when I win Comedy Central's Comic to Watch in 2013, and I'm still in Houston. When I get on Def Jam in 08, season finale, I'm still in Houston. When I'm on Comedy Central, I'm still in Houston. When I'm on Showtime, I'm still in Houston. All this now, I'm staying home. Get the out here. Y'all copy. Y'all saw interviews that I said, and you saw what I was doing, and now you're trying to say it's this. I've been said LA and New York. All them comics out there with all that, get the out of here, man. First independent. When everybody, we can go to the receipts. Everybody doing DVDs and trying to get deals on things. I'm already on XM Radio in 2009, making money off XM Radio. I'm doing audio, DVDs. Makes no sense to me. If you in a car, you have a CD player. You can put my CD on and listen to me. You can't watch me on the way to the thing in the DVD if you're having a hard day.
Yeah.
Man, this is what I be talking about when people try to overlook what somebody else did because they'll give it. Now, I'm the first 4-part series ever in comedy.
It was also during Gay Pride Month that Jerry Seinfeld was getting dragged in the mainstream media seemingly non-stop after making comments criticizing cancel culture during his press run to promote Unfrosted.
It used to be you would go home at the end of the day, most people would go, oh, Cheers is on, oh, MASH is on, oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on, All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people.
On June 30th, 2024, Kill Tony announced a new lineup of regulars that included Drew Nickens, along with one of last year's biggest breakout comics, Ari Maddie. It was also during this episode of Kill Tony that Louis J. Gomez swallowed a kidney stone and Bucket Pole Jack Shaw won a golden ticket.
I actually brought it with me because they gave it to me.
You brought the stone with you? Oh.
This is the actual stone.
Oh my God, let's see that. Let me see that, Louis.
Oh God, it's never been open. It's never been open.
Don't, Louis, no. No!
Put that away. Fuck, dude, I've never opened.
No. Oh my God.
Some notable stand-up specials from the month of June include Joe Coy live in Brooklyn, Keith Robinson, Different Strokes, Adam Ray, Like and Subscribe, Ali Sadiq, Pins and Needles, and Renan Hirschberg, Brave. The month of July started off with Joe Rogan announcing plans to potentially expand the Comedy Mothership operation into multiple clubs, a comedy festival, and even his own theater.
If you're interested in this, this is where it all goes down. There's I can tell you, there's the next move that Joe is going to do is going to blow your mind.
I was hearing about it on Rogan, like the theater or the festival, either of those things.
The summer kept rolling along with an announcement from Bill Burr that his next special would be with Hulu, as the streamer first started to make some noise with their plans to get involved in comedy, copying the same blueprint used by Netflix.
Congratulations.
Do we have a name for the special?
I don't know yet. I'm working on it, but that was just absolute hell for 4 hours, and
Why?
I am. Who the wants to watch themselves for an hour?
Yeah.
For 4 hours, it was horrible. I think I got to go in tomorrow, and then I'm done.
Where'd you shoot it?
I shot it in Seattle. Look at us doing this little promo thing.
Yeah, it worked.
I feel like one of these younger comics, how they just know how to like promote the shit out of this stuff. They're amazing.
Well, let's talk about it because part of the reason I signed up Hulu is because of you.
Oh, okay.
Well, because Hulu brought over people from Netflix, and they were
I can't shake this guy.
Yeah.
The next big comedy story of 2024 was one of the most viral internet moments of the entire year, when Shane Gillis and Adam Ray surprised everyone on Kill Tony dressed in full Hollywood-quality Donald Trump and Joe Biden costumes.
It's another fun appearance by Drew Nickens. All right.
Tony, how many more retarded guys do you have back there?
Anything can happen.
This crowd is hungry for more retarded guys, and frankly, I don't think we've seen enough retarded guys. How about a retarded racist? Would you like to see that?
This next person could be one. I pulled it out of the bucket. It is the Kill Tony debut, I do believe, of Jacob Barr, everybody. Jacob Barr. Oh, my God. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Well.
Thank you.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay, hold on. We're going to reset this, Jacob. Holy shit, man. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Jacob Barr.
What's up, everybody? I had sex today. Thank you. All right. Who wants to smell my nub?
This episode would go on to become the most viewed episode in Kill Tony history within just a few weeks, and was so popular they even brought back this concept a few months later, as we'll see in this video. To close out the month of July, we were joined by the creator of Roast Battle League, Brian Moses, days after the first ever RBL All-Star game that even included legit gambling odds on comedians.
More importantly, what was the process like of getting betting lines up? Who was setting those odds? That is insane and just one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
The first All-Star game, shout out Pat Barker. He's the first ever Roast Battle League commissioner. We've had this idea to do a league for Roast Battle for a long time, but it took the sport, quote unquote sport of it all, just to kind of catch up to itself. And comics had to get good at this sport. So it took years for people to get good, for this thing to spread like wildfire all over the world. So it took about 10 years for everybody to kind of grasp what a roast battle is around the world and become good at it and have years under their belt for us to create a league like it was Major League Baseball or National Football League or National Basketball Association. So then this is our second season. I asked Pat, I was like, I'd love to see like all-stars or like, you know, top 25 like college football. And he's like, done, I got you. And then he picked the 10 best people, 5 from the Eastern Conference, 5 from the Western Conference. I've been wanting betting ever since I saw that Major League Baseball became a real sport when they got into the betting of it all. I was like, I want to be a real sport. I want the spelling bee of comedy to be a sport, right? I was looking for DraftKings and FanDuel, and because we don't really have the numbers like that, like we did back in the 2010s when we were on like Comedy Central, nobody's really looking at us like that. So DraftKings and FanDuel haven't been like, you know, hitting our door down. But there was this one betting app in particular who gets away with being a betting app because it's not betting, it's skilled gaming, right? As if you're playing Call of Duty with a friend and putting money on it, you know? So that's kind of what this is. So that's why we can get away with it. It's like, oh, you know what roast battle is, and you're probably an expert at it. If it's like you and me in a group chat, I'm like, oh, Jake, I got Jeff Ross versus Blake Griffin. I got $10 on Jeff Ross. Well, you want to take the bet with me? That's kind of how this works.
So did Pat set the lines for that? Because who knows who is favored and who is the underdog?
How does that work?
Yeah, so that was Pat. So I was, because I don't really know money lines like that, and he's got a real intimate knowledge of, you know, who's good.
Some notable specials from July of 2024 include Sam Morril, You've Changed, Hannah Berner, We Ride at Dawn, Chad Daniels, Empty Nester, JP McDade, In Brooklyn, and Nick Swartzen, Make Joke from Face. On August 3rd, 2024, Joe Rogan and Burn the Boats became Netflix's third ever live stream stand-up special, further pioneering the live streaming comedy model that saw major success last year.
Like, one of the things that I found when I had to do this live special was that I had to really go over my shit, like with a fine-tooth comb. So I wound up writing out all my bits that I've done hundreds of times. Write them out exactly, word for word, just drill it into my head. And then I was preparing for this. I was like, I should probably be doing this all the time. I know, right? I should probably be doing not just when I would get ready for a special, but I should probably be doing comedy this way.
It was also at the beginning of August that we moved across the country to officially set up Joke World Shop in Austin, Texas. Up next was a detailed breakdown of the current state of crowdwork comedy after conversation popped up online surrounding Matt Rife's Netflix crowdwork special, Lucid.
I was at the cellar once with Jimmy, with Fallon. He just wanted to watch comedy. Like, he just was like, I want to get back into it. I want to watch comedy. And we were all sitting in the back and at the VU, and we watched like the first like 3 comics, and they all did crowd work. It was like the host, and he was like, what is this? And Michael was like, this is like kind of comedy now.
Yes.
That'd be so funny if that just influences monologue the next night.
Yeah.
He's like, look at this bitch in the front row.
One of the biggest moments of the year happened in late August when Kill Tony sold out back-to-back nights at Madison Square Garden for 2 tremendous shows that featured dozens of legendary surprise guests, the return of Trump and Biden, and the debut of the Legends Bucket.
We don't know what was in the bucket of legends. When Ron White got up, he said he wasn't aware that he was in that bucket. And I believed him. He still did a great set. But when we were all speculating, and as the seats that the comics are in a position almost behind the table, so we were trying to look down in the wings and see who was coming up. Jerry Seinfeld is a comedian that came to mind because it would be such a mind blow to have somebody that is just Mr. New York comedy, even though we don't associate him with Kill Tony or Tony Hinchcliffe per se. That would have been exciting. I also think back to the Los Angeles show when the surprise pool was RFK Jr. So in my heart of hearts, I was thinking, wouldn't that be crazy if he pulled out Donald Trump? I'd love to hear Donald Trump's minute.
To wrap up the summer, we interviewed the owner of Tampa's most iconic comedy club, Side Splitters, Brian Thompson, no relation to the United CEO.
What about Tampa makes it a great comedy town?
There's things I hear comics say. I've heard Sam Morril say a few times, a blue city in a red state. He's kind of saying it as a joke.
Tampa, for whatever reason, has been the Side Splitters. They've always been really good.
Did you ever make up with hyenas?
Never. I'd be happy to.
Here specifically, like tonight, I know you saw, as soon as we started the previews for upcoming shows, it was silence. And it's such a beautiful thing. Like, they cared who was coming. Like, it's truly comedy fans. I can't speak, really outside of these walls, but here, first and foremost, we give them good acts. There are the one-nighters and people that maybe get famous from things outside of stand-up comedy, but overall, the level of talent is always high. There's always years of, making sure the people that are here for the wrong reasons, you make sure that the show is the #1 priority. If you want balloons and fireworks for your birthday, this might not be the spot. But if you want to come see an incredible show and get great service, I think we're the best.
The notable specials of August include Joe Rogan, Burn the Boats, Brendan Sagalow, Thin Lips, Matt Rife, Lucid, and Adam Sandler, Love You. At the beginning of September, Louis C.K. announced that he was joining the comedy platform Punch Up Live, which specializes in independent content distribution and direct fan interaction, something that Louis C.K. has been preaching about his entire career.
Pioneered a lot of this. I remember when Louis put his first special out for $5, and in some ways I've kind of been thinking about this ever since then. I literally was talking with a friend and have this whole document laid out of I wonder how other comedians could be doing this. In some ways, the aha moment that we had was very few other comedians could be doing what Louis did, because you needed to have a fan base as large as Louis to be able to actually make any meaningful money. Anybody can theoretically create a website and say, hey, it's $5 for my special. But, me and the other open micer folks, would get no one to actually buy it. And so, exactly to Alex's point, we created this network so that theoretically everybody who has a following can kind of pool it all together. So you don't have to be selling out Madison Square Garden to be able to, whether it is monetized, but also just get more people signing up for your mailing list. And so the thing that Louis signifies to me is real validation of the value of that network.
On September 15th, we interviewed Luis J. Gomez for the second time in 2024, this time for a full Skankfest preview, but still over Zoom while he was driving around in New York.
We're doing Skankfest this year that we've never done before. We're doing a lot more experimental stuff. We're doing a lot more things that we're giving it a shot for the first time. A lot more surprise guests. I was saying that before, but like the amount of people that like just have contracts in Vegas that they couldn't be announced because they're like, we'll do it, but we can't actually be announced because we're going to be performing at certain casinos. There's a lot of that as well. A lot of people that you wouldn't expect at Skankfest, and some special shows that we're doing that we haven't done before. Some special shows that we're doing at Skankfest that we have done before that we haven't done in a couple of years. So really cool stuff. The advice that I give to anybody coming to Skankfest is don't be married to the schedule. Be fluid. Pop into secret shows, pop into different things that you don't think you're not really planning on. You can see so much, and I think if you're obsessed with just seeing certain shows, I think you're going to miss a lot of other things that are happening that are unplanned.
After a rumor about a Shane Gillis movie role never came to fruition back in March, official news came out in September that Shane Gillis had filmed a role in an upcoming movie with Al Pacino and Vince Vaughn that was originally written for one of his comedy heroes.
But he's an amazing dramatic actor, so it was funny. I just did this movie with him and Pacino, and Shane Gillis, I got Shane in it.
Whoa!
Yeah, dude. Shane did a little cameo. I was on his couch. I was in Austin on his couch reading the script, and it was written for Norm Macdonald. Obviously, he passed away, so I was like, dude, you want to do this movie with me and Pacino and Vince Vaughn? And he's like, duh.
Wow.
So that was awesome, and he had to, I'm not going to say anything. I'll let it be. He did great.
Notable specials from September 2024 include Mike Cannon, Traumatized Animal, Dion Cole, OK Mister, Jay Farrow, Jared, and Colin Jost and Michael Che hosted New York After Dark on Peacock. October started off with a Tim Dillon Netflix special event, This Is Your Country, styled as a chaotic Jerry Springer-esque talk show that quickly hit Netflix's top 10.
How did you find these people that were willing to share these bizarre stories on Netflix?
Everyone's willing to do everything. This is the question that surprises me the most. Why would people go on the show? Has anyone gone outside? It's so weird to me. Like, people are like, why would people go on and share intimate details of their... What is left for anyone in this country unless some fame, some virality, some fucking clout? I mean, people are going on the show for the same reason. Like the Hawk Tuah girl says whatever she said, and then she's she's like has a career. Now she's a sweet girl, and there's nothing, I'm not taking anything away from her, but like they're like, why can't I be her? There is no value to dignity anymore. There was never a financial value to dignity in our country. There is now not an emotional value. You do not feel better for being dignified now either. So it's a circus, and you can get on a trapeze or not. But yeah, I mean, I initially thought, is it going to be hard to get people to come on? We had to turn people away.
We followed up the Tim Dillon interview with an in-person podcast with Chris DiStefano that covered his move to Hulu, what it was like joining YMH, and the return of Hey Babe and History Hyenas.
The people need to know, I need to know, everyone needs to know, what is the official status of this Hey Babe hiatus?
So hiatus, babe. And we have my guy off to the corner, Steve Ciccone Riceroni, who was the producer of Hey Babe in the later years. What's going on right now is, Sal is, when we started Hey Babe, Sal was not doing Practical Jokers because it was during the pandemic. So we had all this time. We had a year of him not doing it. And now with that Impractical Jokers schedule, which obviously takes priority, it was really hard to be able to get to do Hey Babe and Taste Buds and him do his Practical Joker schedule. And then I got busy with my own stuff. Joe DeRosa's moved to Austin. So we said, you know what would be best, rather than kind of piecing together episodes here and, giving the fans quantity over quality, we were like, let's take a break. And Practical Jokers, I think, is going to have a little bit of a gap for like 4 months, I think, starting in the winter. So our plan is to break hiatus, babe, and start Hey Babe at that time.
It was also during the month of October that we uploaded the full Skankfest 2024 documentary, which included interviews with over 10 comedians and a complete recap of everything that happened at this year's festival.
The most underrated.
You're a coward, and that you won't slapbox me
in the ring right here at Skankfest.
Lewis,
coward,
like that desperate ex who
Coward.
keeps coming back, asking for another hit, but it's not gonna happen.
Coward.
Dude,
right there.
I'm living rent free.
This fucking coward refuses to give me a slapbox rematch. I've been training this whole time. Jeremiah Watkins, we have winter mittens that we're using. We're doing slapboxing here. And I challenge you to a main event slapbox rematch in the ring, right here on camera, right here, right now at Skankfest. This is an exclusive, Joke World exclusive. Jeremiah Watkins, are you going to accept the challenge here at Skankfest this weekend, right in the ring?
At the moment, I don't accept, but yeah.
You is a pussy.
I'm a pussy, and I'm so.
You might as well move to Austin, bitch.
I'm such a pussy that I beat Luis J. Gomez in a slap fight competition. No,
it was a fluke. I broke my thumb.
Look back at the tape. He broke his thumb fighting this guy right here.
My ankle.
All right.
10 seconds. Wait, what? He's weak and he's afraid and he won't fucking show up. You guys heard it here first. Don't even listen to whatever he's about to say in this interview. It's all horseshit. Who wants to listen to that type of man speak?
Lewis faked an illness so he wouldn't do my stand-up on the spot in New York. Who's the real pussy?
That may be true. I don't remember what lie I told you.
So far, 2024 had been relatively drama-free, but towards late October, that would all change dramatically after Andrew Schultz revealed that Brooklyn Academy of Music canceled the recording of his upcoming stand-up special just 3 hours after releasing his interview with Donald Trump.
First off, I want to thank you for thinking of BAM for Andrew Schultz's upcoming comedy show. We are always excited when promoters consider our space for their events. After some internal discussions with leadership, it was decided that BAM is not the right fit for this show at this time. So if anybody has a venue, if you've got a venue for us, that'd be really great. I'd really love to shoot this special. It's not like we might do it here. It's booked. It's ready to go. We're going on sale this week. We have the entire production team come out. This is for the third time many of us are spotting the venue and looking at everything. We have the set design already curated. We're moving around seating plots, camera plots. Like it's ready to go. We're going on sale this week. And we get an email 3.5 hours out. Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is a venue they've shot tons of specials in. And 3.5 hours after the interview, they cancel shows. They're also they're canceling my shows, but they're also begging Live Nation to not cancel future shows with them. Like they still want business, but they're like, just not this guy. Now I don't know if it's a Trump interview, but the day before it came out, we were ready to go and we're going on sale this week.
The political drama would only increase from here after Donald Trump would also appear on This Past Weekend with Theo Von and the Joe Rogan Experience, which 53 million views later became one of the most discussed podcasts of all time. But yet no situation related to comedy was discussed more during the election than the Tony Hinchcliffe Puerto Rico joke told at the Madison Square Garden Trump rally.
Last night, guys, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Ladies and gentlemen, last night I gave a speech. I don't know if you've heard about this. It was a speech about free speech, believe it or not. And I'm currently under attack. I'm the news. I don't know if you guys know this, but on my speech on free speech, I referenced Puerto Rico, which currently has a landfill problem in which all of their landfills are filled to the brim. I guess I'm the only person that knew about this, unfortunately. And with that said, I just want to say that I love Puerto Ricans. They're very smart people. They're smart, they're street smart, and they're smart enough to know when they're being used as political fodder. And right now, that is happening. And I apologize to absolutely nobody. Not to the Puerto Ricans, not to the whites, not to the blacks, not to the Palestinians, not to the Jews, and not to my own mother, who I made fun of during the set. Nobody clipped that. No headlines about me making fun of my own mother. Perhaps that venue at that time wasn't the best fucking place to do this set at. But in any matter, to the mainstream media and to everybody trying to slander me online, that's what I do. I go hard, and that's never going to change. Who's ready for the best fucking night of their lives?
Notable specials from October of 2024 include Josh Wolf 4 Stories, Ali Wong Single Lady, Ryan Long Problem Solved, Paul Verzi Reasonable Man, Hassan Minaj Off With His Head, and Tom Papa Home Free. In early November, we published a video that fully recapped every single way that comedians ended up influencing the 2024 presidential election, from podcasts to SNL, and of course the endorsements.
We've actually been hearing a lot of talk about the Rogan podcast, Joe Rogan podcast. In fact, a little while ago, we were talking to two guys. One of them said he was on the fence until when Kamala did not go on the Joe Rogan podcast. That was what influenced his vote. He ended up voting for Trump, but he said that he was open to listening to Kamala on the podcast, and when she didn't, again, not necessarily all the issues, but the fact that he said she didn't seem like a real person because she couldn't talk for an extended period of time.
Some of the most exciting news to come out of 2024 came in mid-November when it was announced that Joey Diaz and Lee Syatt were bringing back the infamous Church of What's Happening Now podcast after a 4-year hiatus.
You know what? I'm honestly still surprised we're coming back. It's coming back the same way it ended, to be honest, just kind of out of, like, not out of nowhere. But when we ended, I think it was like June and we left in August. Like, Joey makes decisions very quickly. When I saw Rogan, it was in May. I was opening for someone at Cap City. I went down to Rogan's club and he was talking about it and it was great. And we were already doing the check-in, but I had no plans to move to New York. Mm-hmm. And then over the summer, I got the opportunity to move to New York for stand-up. It was kind of something that we had talked about getting an office, but I was on the road. Joey called me and said, "Hey, I found this great office. It's in the basement. I'm here now and we're just setting up." So honestly, it sort of happened over the last couple of months. I think you guys know Joey. Joey does whatever he wants when he wants.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say he had nothing to do with it, but it was great to see him and Theo talking about it. I don't remember most of the church, but I know we had a lot of fun.
A handful of November's notable specials include Adam Rowe, What's Wrong With Me, Adrian Appalucci, The Dark Queen, Adam Ray is Dr. Phil Unleashed, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, Anthony Jeselnik, Bones and All, and Dane Cook, Above It All. We ended this wild year with back-to-back videos after Kendrick Lamar called out white comedians in a surprise album that really became a big story after Andrew Schultz roasted the rapper on Flagrant.
This is the thing that is kind of funny about it, is like, first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they will kill me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll fucking cut me up. They'll shoot me. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy. Y'all do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him. There's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not.
And the last story of the year was a video covering the news that after a long and successful 30-year stand-up career, Bobby Lee had finally agreed to record a stand-up special which will be coming out on Hulu in 2026.
It's also not for a whole calendar year.
Okay, that's right.
And you know what?
What?
You're prepared.
I'm ready.
You're ready.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
I deserve it.
People deserve it.
But here's why I fucked up. I should have done one a long time.
That's right.
Do you know why? Because I've held out this long, I feel like there's way more expectation on it.
No.
Is that not true? No?
Probably.
No.
Oh, thank you, Carlos. You don't think so?
Carlos, you're
the worst human.
Such a
You're a piece of shit.
I mean, it's the truth, dude.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Yeah. This is good. This is good. This is good. No. Really.
Right. People don't believe it's going to happen.
Right.
Well, I signed the contract.
Sure. But America doesn't.
Do you think I can pull out?
You sure could. How could you not? It's a year away. They haven't paid you a dime. You don't get paid until you shoot it. So if they didn't give you any money, you can always leave.
Okay.
Which you should not do.
I'm going to do it.
People are excited for you to do it.
I 100% want to do it.
What do you think you might call your special?
My first special.
Perfect.
Why can't it be?
I just said perfect.
Or first time.
No, I think what you just said was good.
My first special.
My first special.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you should call it? My last special.
That's funny.
December's notable stand-up specials include Fortune Feimster Crushing It, Russell Peters Act Your Age, Jamie Foxx What Happened Was, Matthew Broussard Hyperbolic, Ronnie Chang Love to Hate It, and Nate Bargatze Your Friend Nate Bargatze. There were multiple publications who crowned a 2024 Comedian of the Year, including GQ naming John Mulaney and Consequence picking Nikki Glaser, who both had great years, but the response to these choices did not seem to represent the true feelings of comedy fans. Which is why, for a second year in a row, we are putting out our own vote for Comedian of the Year amongst plenty of other titles in order to allow the actual consumers of comedy to crown a people's champ. We'll have more details on where and when to vote very soon. Personally, I feel like it's hard to argue anyone had a bigger year than Nate Bargatze or Tony Hinchcliffe, but we're gonna leave all of that up to you guys, the best comedy fans in the world. Categories for the Joke World Awards will include Comedian of the Year, Podcast of the Year, Podcast Guest of the Year, Special of the Year, YouTube Special of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, and some new categories as well, so start to think about who you want to vote for each of those things, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the video when voting goes live. It's pretty wild to say the least when you look back at this year in comedy and see how much bigger things have gotten for so many different comedians. This year we witnessed another rise in independent projects at the same time that comedy grew by leaps and bounds in the mainstream. Of course, there were also plenty of moments of adversity and outrage, but when it's all said and done, 2024 was a historic year for everything comedy related, including this channel. I really need to say thank you to every single person who's watched a video, left a comment, pressed subscribed, or done anything related to Joke World during this year. You guys are the sole reason that a channel like this is even possible in the first place. And your support allows us to do some insanely cool things like interview the people that we make compilations about. So just so you know, it's not lost on me that I have the best job in the world because of you people, so thank you so much for everything that you've done in 2024, and I can't wait to keep growing this channel even bigger and delivering the best comedy news possible in 2025. Also, free stickers available, link in bio.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.